Hi everyone, it's me. As you know, it's been a while since I've done a proper serious sit down vlog, but I thought I would because a question that's been in my mind, I guess this summer because I've spent so much time with my girls, is how do I make sure that they're not mental like me? How do I protect them from being mad like me? Now, I know madness can be a good thing. I love the quote, the Shakespeare quote, with every creative mind or genius mind is a tincture of madness, which I do truly believe in. And I think being mad does allow me to think laterally and outside of the box. But I would never wish my girls to go through anything like what I've been through. Now, I know a lot of it is due to my past, things out of my control that have happened, but a lot of me thinks it's also genetic, and it's kind of in my DNA that I'm not built. There's something that's not quite right in my head, like a physiological thing, so it does very much worry me that my kids will experience things that I've experienced in my mind. So as you may know, I've suffered from anxiety, depression, psychosis, postnatal depression, postpartum psychosis. Somebody said OCD, body dysmorphia. I've been given lots and lots of labels, and I do think labels help because it means that I get the right treatment as much as possible, and it gives me something to like research and make me feel less mad, the fact that other people go through it as well. But I would never wish this mental illness on anyone, and especially not my own children. So I try and keep as normal, whatever normal is, as possible in front of the girls. I try not to point out certain foods, and I try and be really positive, because I have had an eating disorder, so I'm very acutely aware of what I'm saying about food and body image and stuff. But it does concern me that they'll pick up on like my erratic mood. So some days I'll feel like I'm on top of the world and come up with loads of ideas of things that I could do, and my head will be buzzing. And then other days I literally can't even think about, well, I can think about tomorrow because then I'm panicking and worrying, but I struggle to think that I'll be able to live by tomorrow, that I'll be able to survive the day. It really goes from those extremes, and it does feel like I have this massive self-destruct switch in my head, which I'm sure people can say cognitive behavioural therapy will sort. But the problem with therapy is you have to be in the right place to do it. And I thought CBT would be good because it's very practical, and it's like looking at your behaviours and your thought patterns and how to change them. So I have found it good in the past, but at the same time, I'm not ready to have counselling at the moment. I did start to have some, I think it was about 18 months ago, and it was really, really hard. And because I don't have that downtime, because I've got my girls and I don't want them to pick up on it, I was just finding it was sending me backwards, because I try and keep myself as well as possible through exercise and medication. And I guess there's things where I don't do a lot of work and I don't drive. I choose not to drive. I do actually have a licence because of my anxiety and like the kind of psychotic episodes I've had. I don't feel safe driving, and I get very anxious about certain things. So I kind of keep my life rounded down as much as possible, to allow me to be as fit and healthy. But at the same time, I'm encouraging my kids, to be ambitious, to strive for great things. But really all I want for them is to be healthy and sane as possible. Because I don't want them to be anything like I am. Maybe, like, I always see the good in people and the positives in other people. So I'd like them to be like that and kind-natured and think of others, but not to the extent that I self-inflict pain on myself, because I can't cope with making anyone feel sad or unhappy, or upsetting someone. I guess it's not to have my extremes, to literally go from feeling like the most creative, ambitious person in the world to then, like, I cannot live for tomorrow, I cannot live for today, I want to die. And it literally is that quick and that serious. And I have had a lot of care and a lot of crisis care, but a lot of it is on me, which it should be, to change. But it's very, very hard when your head, it's kind of changing my personality as well, because I don't often feel anger towards people. I feel anger towards myself. So I remember, like, if my dad would ever tell me off, it'd be like, no, you don't need to tell me off, because if I know I've done something wrong, I'll already be telling myself off and I'll be inflicting that pain on myself. So yeah, I don't know if anyone's got any tips of how to keep my daughters as sane as possible. I try and give them a rounded life, but I'm far from a perfect parent. But they are my everything, and I just hope that they'll understand one day why I talk about mental health, because I think for a long time lots of people saw me in the media doing dancing and performing and being on TV and doing different adverts, and so on paper I had a really good life and I was really successful, whatever that means. And I've always felt, even when I've been a journalist, I've always felt weird reporting on people. Like, I'm the journalist, I'm at the BBC, and I'm going to look at you as a subject in my story, because actually I want to be open and honest. I am a human being and I really, really do struggle, and I'm lucky to be here. There's been a number of times where I have been close to the edge and almost over the edge. So I am very blessed to be here. But I guess I like to talk about it because it helps me. Like, vlogging helps me in a really weird way. Sounds like a proper saddo loser, because I talk to my vlogs like I'm talking to somebody, but I don't have the same stress of trying to make conversation with somebody else. I can just ramble on. So that's kind of a bit of therapy for me. And it helps me to feel less lonely. I think that's why I wanted to start blogging as well, because I had to give up my job. One, my daughter was ill, but also mentally I was very poorly. So I think because I've gone from this high-powered job, my dream job, to doing very little, I say very little. I'm always busy, whether it's with the girls, looking after them, or at the gym, or blogging and vlogging, but not so much in a kind of career mind. So yeah, I guess I've got to keep things, it's kind of getting a balance, and that's what I want my girls to be. I want them to be content. I want them to be ambitious, but not to have the same crazed ambition that I've had, where you're always looking for the next thing. There's something about just being happy, and I hope that I bring them up in a fairly stable household. But we will be honest, and I will be honest about my mental health and my past, because none of us are perfect, and we put our parents often, or carers, on a pedestal. And actually, I think if people were honest, it would create a lot more of an open atmosphere, which is really important. So people know that they're not alone with their mental illness, or physical ill health, or whatever it may be. Yeah, so I guess to just finish off, I'd want to say to anyone watching that if you have got mental health problems, and sometimes I think it's harder when you look like you don't, I'd say just to try and be kind to yourself, and get the right support for you. I've often just gone along with support, and now I'm a bit more assertive. So I actually opt for more group sessions because I don't find them as intensive as counselling, and I like to listen to other people. But for some people that would be a definite no-go, and they want kind of one-to-one. So I'd say try things. There's a number of different ways you can get help, and it's just about experimenting. And no matter what we look like on social media, that's only half of the story. People say a picture, well, they used to say anyway, a picture tells 1,000 words. But nowadays pictures are so staged that really they don't.